because you're not supposed to be able to fly for periods of time. Where was the dunking from? I mean, you can dunk in games and stuff, but when you have a competition, you're going between the legs, you're spinning around. I mean, how do you even think of this stuff, or is this just things that kind of came naturally to you?
Well, the majority of my dunks was from Dominique Wilkins. I grew up a huge Dominique Wilkins fan. But, you know, I had a teammate, Gilbert Arenas. He always gave me my final dunk in dunk contests because he used to jump off of trampolines and do all these crazy dunks. And when I needed a dunk, I always asked Gil, I said, Gil, I need a final dunk. And he'll have some crazy thoughts in his mind that he couldn't do, but he know I'll go out there and break my neck and try to do. So he'll tell me all these crazy dunks, and I could do them. And you know, sometimes those dunks I did in those dunk contests was the first time I ever done them, and that was like the only time I ever done them.
Now, Jason came in with Gilbert Arenas and Troy Murphy. The Warriors increased their win total by 17 wins the first year. They went 21 to 38 and really kind of got things on the map, and then we believe kind of culminated that. You come in with three guys that are going to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. We'll get to learning from Steph and Draymond. But what are you doing on a boat with Klay Thompson? I mean, give me the backstory. I know you're both rehabbing. We'll get into that. But you're rehabbing at Chase Center. You see each other a lot. Klay says, let's go out in the ocean. And you're like, yeah, I'll go do that. Give me the story on this.
Man, Klay wanted me to go on this boat ever since the beginning of the season. So really, I just told him like in the off season we could do it. And literally like 3 days ago, he said, did you want to go on the boat? And I was like, yeah, sure. Just see what's happening, to see if he's a pro or not. And he's most definitely a pro and driving the boat. So, man, full appreciation to Klay. That was like a great experience, and I really enjoyed it a lot.
Woo! So there were like several members of the Navy and a few captains and other guys running the boat, right? It wasn't just you two?
Oh, no, it was just us two. And it was just us.
I cannot have two Warrior stars capsize in the middle of the bay. Does Klay know what he's doing on a boat?
Yeah, most definitely.
And did you float down to Monterey or whatever? Where did you go?
No, we were just cruising. We went to this boathouse, and then I stayed there for one night. Then we just took the boat from there to practice, which was crazy. So,
whoa, wait a minute! You got in the boat, and then you went and stayed at a boathouse for a night, and then came back?
Insane! It was very insane. Very insane.
Okay, so it's a memo to self: don't go on a boat with Klay. Now, do you have any nautical skills? Have you been on a boat before?
I have been on a boat previously, earlier in my years, but he taught me how to dock and like how to do a lot of stuff like that. So I learned a lot of stuff.
Jason, can you imagine someone on the high seas seeing Klay Thompson and James Wiseman tooling by on a boat?
That'd have been crazy. I saw the video. I see a lot of Klay videos. He kayaking in the bay. He's on his boat. He really loves the water. So, I mean, you got to trust a guy like that and know what he's doing.
All right, so Klay's not here, but we can all be real with Dub Nation. We need to get Klay back on a basketball court, right? Yeah! We need to get Klay. Plus, we need to see Rocco a bit more, his bulldog and everything. James, Jason was judging all the different costumes and different dogs. Do you ever have pets growing up?
My mom had cats growing up, so I never had a dog. So my mom actually has a dog right now. So that's the first dog she ever had.
Because the key is when you name a dog. So, you know, Klay's dog is a bulldog named Rocco. What would the James Wiseman dog be? If you got a dog, what do you think?
I'd probably name my dog J-Dub or probably J-Wise or something like that. Probably Jaw because it's like my initials, so that'd be pretty dope.
All right, now J-Rich, that was a nickname that fit right away. James is batting away nicknames like he blocked shots. On the broadcast, we're like the large lefty, Southpaw Slam, Big Jim, J-Dub, J-Wise. He's like, I don't like none of them. So now I just call him Mr. Wiseman during the game. So I mean, Mr. Wiseman has checked in, Mr. Wiseman scored, Mr. Wiseman has blocked the shot. That's, I mean, you had the Garnett, the big ticket one, you had Unicorn. How come everybody just can't just call you James?
Man, it's a lot of nicknames growing up. My coach actually started the big ticket thing in high school, but I was like, that's KG nickname, so I gotta get my own nickname. I'm gonna figure out one soon.
Now, do you know you had a better statistical season than Garnett as a rookie?
Yeah, I've seen it, but I really...
You had a better statistical season than Jermaine O'Neal as a rookie, Andrew Bynum as a rookie. Like, 19-year-old kids don't average 11.5 and 6.5 boards in the league. I mean, Jay, you came in early, but 19, were you ready to come in and double figure in the NBA?
No chance.
Give James a little advice. 14 years in the league. What's the key to being in the NBA for a long period of time or having some longevity?
The key to being in the league for a long time is working on your craft in the offseason. That's when you get better. Come back a better player every year. Every year, give yourself a chance to showcase your skill every year. Do it for the fans, do it for your team, do it for yourself. But you always take the off season and work on it.
Now, James, when Jason came in, incredible athletic skills, already had a national championship, Michigan State. The toughness is unquestioned. I saw this guy snap his ankle and tape it up and keep playing. Like, I don't know if I can think of a tougher player than Jason Richardson, but he made himself into a 40% three-point shooter in addition to the aerial skills. Now, that's hours and hours and hours in the gym, right, Jay? When no one's looking, I mean, that's when you have to put in the work.
Yeah, definitely. That's when you put in the work when nobody's paying attention. That's how you get better. That's how you take pride in coming back a better player. When people say you can't do anything, you go prove them wrong.
Now, James, you're spending a lot of time at Klay because you're at Chase Center and you're rehabbing your meniscus injury. Tell me about kind of the mental toughness that takes day in, day out to do that rehab. You've been so diligent with it. Recovery's going great, but that's a mind thing. Like, your body, you've been genetic lottery winner your whole life. You've been able to play and dominate. Something gets sideways, and you got to work through it. How have you attacked that?
I got all my faith in God. So, I mean, you gonna go through adversity in life, but you got to learn how to have resilience and just keep going. And my mom taught me well. So really, I'm 20 years old. I'm young, so I'm really just working hard every day. And my mindset just to get better, just work on my craft and just try to master it. So really, I just be in the gym every day, work diligently, and I just work my tail off every day.
The Warriors had a young player that had a bunch of ankle issues early in his career. They said, well, he's just going to be hurt all the time, and it's not going to work out for him. I haven't really kept up to speed with what happened to Steph Curry. Has he been okay?
Yeah.
For him at age 33, absolutely killing it. And it's one of those where that adversity provides that opportunity for great things. And so we're going to look back when you're 33 and say, man, when you're 20 and that knee thing bothered you a little bit, but the work you put in probably will have a carry-on effect really the rest of your career.
Right, just working hard every day and just trusting in God's plan and really just going out there and just working hard every day and just putting it all out there on the table.
All right, so now, Jason, you're still fit after playing. See, some guys, when they're done playing, they relax, they don't work. And you're killing it on the golf course, but was it diet in terms of how you stay in that kind of shape? Are you watching what you're eating?
No, it's my wife. I've had many problems once I retired that I wouldn't lose my shape, so I had to stay in shape. Just being older, just always loving to work. I just kept on doing that. I think I probably maybe took 2 weeks off after I retired and I was back in the gym.
Because I was going through James's credit card receipts, and there's a Cheesecake Factory is on there a lot.
He's 20. He can do that. He burns it all like it's nothing.
Where was it now? I know your diet. You're on top of it. At 7'2", you can't get. You'll end up like me. Cheesecake Factory. What clicked there as far as that's one of the go-tos when you get to relax a little bit?
Man, I was chilling with my guy Moo. We just went to Cheesecake Factory. And because I've been on a meal plan this past summer, so I just had to get one day just to do something, just have fun for myself, and just treat myself. So yeah, that was just once in just occasionally. So yeah.
And what's the go-to there? Give us the
go-to is chicken Alfredo with probably Oreo cheesecake and fries or something.
Oreo cheesecake is beyond solid. No doubt about it. Jason, what advice would you give to a young guy? I know that you had like Calvert Chaney and various other veterans that kind of put their arm around you a little bit and talked to you as you came into the league. What would you tell a 20-year-old that the whole future is ahead of him, kind of where things are headed in the NBA?
Well, those 3 Hall of Famers you mentioned, listen and learn everything they say. They tell you to do everything, you do it, because those guys are future Hall of Famers. Steph, 2-time MVP, Draymond Defensive Player of the Year, Klay, all NBA, all those guys. So they tell you to do it, you do it. because those guys been through it. They know what it takes to be successful.
What's it been like with the vets for you for your rookie year?
It's been great. They gave me a lot of advice, just telling me to go out there and just work hard every day. Just make sure I put in work outside of the game in terms of like making sure I put in the extra hours before the game and stuff like this. So, I mean, it's been great advice. Great advice.
And Draymond is very calm, very shy, retiring type. He rarely raises his voice, right? When Draymond would like you to do different things, he's one of the calmest people I've ever met around.
And yeah, the one thing Dre taught me is like how to think the game and just like make sure I be poised and slow the game down. Because being a young player, you come into the league, the game probably be sped up. So he taught me how to just stay controlled within the game, just like have that control and just stay poised all the time.
So Draymond, another Michigan State guy, Jason. And he's doing stuff for TNT. He obviously handles the media stuff. I'm going to be with him in Tokyo for the Olympic team for the United States. He had a great line. He said, when James Wiseman figures out the league and gets comfortable, you can cancel Christmas.
I definitely believe that. Watching the games he had this year before he got hurt, it was amazing to see what he could do. And so I'm excited about his future. Very skilled, can do it all. So I'm just excited about his development and what the future holds for him. Can't wait.
All right, now everybody has a welcome to the NBA moment. When I was talking to your teammate Eric Pascal, he said last year he got the ball on the block. He's like, all right, at Collins Villanova, I just turned and scored. And this guy was leaning on him, but he couldn't move. He turned around to LeBron James. It was, well, wait a minute. Welcome to the NBA. I got LeBron. I'll be on the block. Jason, what was your welcome to the NBA moment? Like, you come in, obviously you're highly touted out of Michigan State, you're a top 5 pick, you get in the league, and was it, wait, there's Kobe or there's Michael Jordan, but what was it?
I think my welcome to the league moment was my fifth game of the season. Long story short, playing against the Washington Wizards, Michael Jordan, 38 years old. My first career NBA start, first play of the game was for me. It was a turnover by Michael Jordan. He went down, got a dunk on me, and he finished with 36 points that night. So let me know, at 36, I wasn't ready for Michael Jordan.
Now, was he talking to you at all?
Oh, he was talking all game. They got you guard me? Yeah, this is going to be a long night for you, young fella. It's going to be a long night. And I don't think he moved 5 feet either way. It was slow, but he worked me. He gave me work that night.
Now, see, the thing, when you broadcast on the floor, you hear all these conversations. I won't say which 2 players were involved, but one guy was a young guy who either didn't get braces as a kid or had kind of a crooked smile, and some vet had him, was guarding him, and said, man, you got to check out the league's dental plan. I thought, that's not even fair. This poor kid had just stars in his eyes. James, what was your welcome to the NBA moment? Now, remember your first game, you hit a 3, you got a dunk. You did a lot of things, but when did it hit you, either a player or a move or something like, whoa, this is a jump up in the level I'm playing against?
Man, it was the second game versus the Bucks. And I was coming down the court on defense, and then Giannis just started coming full speed at me. And I didn't know what to do. And I fouled him, but he told me to stay on the, like you said, make sure you stay on the floor, big fella. And he was just saying stuff like that. So really, Giannis coming full speed at me and scoring, that was one of the most craziest things ever.
Because you saw guys Giannis' size and speed in high school all the time, right? No.
Man, when we used to face prep teams, it'd probably be 7-footers, but the people I faced in high school was probably 6'5", 6'6", so it wasn't that tall at all.
You mentioned your mom briefly, and your relationship with her is pretty amazing. And she moved out here, and there's she is probably the leader in terms of the faith that you have as a young kid. And, other than your mom, I'm your second biggest fan, but she clearly is your first. What was it about you and Mom in terms of, there's a closeness there that I think everybody just gets a kick out of. Everybody loves their mom, but just the way you lean on her, the way she supported you.
Just like my mom working 2 jobs, just sometimes, some days she couldn't provide for us, for me and my big sister. So it just gave me the motivation, just work hard every day. just like have that fire inside of me and just like be driven to chase my dreams, chase my goals. So just like my mom working 2 jobs, like my dad sometimes provided for us because my mom couldn't have it or like she didn't have it, just gave me a lot of motivation. Just keep working hard every day.
She don't want to hear nothing about not working hard, right?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
Jason, who was it for you? I know you were close with Tom Izzo, Michigan State, but people find touchstones in their life that they kind of bring them along, maybe even in the rougher times. Who was it for you in terms of gave you some inspiration on how you handled yourself?
It was the same similar situation as James with my mom. I was working 2 jobs, hard for providing for us. But I knew she did whatever it takes to provide for us. And so it made me want to work hard to just kind of help her out. And she kept me focused. She was my #1 fan. She did whatever it takes, and so she believed in me. And having her believe in me, it made me believe in myself.
And so now you've got 2 youngsters that are amazing basketball players, and you're flying them all over there, playing all these tournaments. I just saw LeBron was coaching his son Bronny, that maybe he's going to be in the league, not too far away. What's it like having a kid? We see Del Curry, Steph Curry, Michael Thompson, Klay Thompson. There are a lot of guys in the league whose sons go to play in the league. What are you telling your sons that maybe it's some wisdom and information you got growing up that you're kind of passing along?
Well, the biggest thing I tell them to do is, enjoy the moment. You don't get these years back as a kid. You remember those things, the tournaments you go to with your friends, some of these guys you grew up with since you were little. And always work hard. Always work hard. For them, it's a little bit of pressure. Most NBA kids, they get a little bit more pressure than other kids because they expect you to be like their dad.
Right.
And that's totally not true. My kids are totally different athletes than I am. More skilled than I ever was at any level. And I just tell them to go out there and enjoy it, be themselves.
James, you're not going to have a kid playing in the NBA who's your son for about 20 years or so, but these are good things. I would imagine you're going to have options where your kid could be that Randy Johnson at 6'10", if not, or follow in your footsteps. But give me kind of the best part of the NBA, and then maybe things that fans don't see that, hey, players go through a few more things that maybe people would know. Give me the best part of making the league and realizing that dream first.
I say the best part is just like staying in the present moment and realizing like that you just accomplished your dream. And I mean, that's the best thing ever for anybody to like be in a certain professional field and still be able to accomplish something that they would love to do. But it's just like the injuries we go through, and just like the adversity we go through, and still we got to play another game. I mean, that takes a lot of mental strength to do that. So you just got to have the mental toughness and just believe in yourself and always have that confidence.
I think the one thing that fans don't see too is the travel. It's one of those where you're flying in from Memphis and it's 3 a.m. and you might have a game the next day, or you're on the road and you're playing back-to-backs. Jay used to have to play 4 games in 5 nights. Let me tell you right now, when you're tired of talking about a game on a broadcast 4 games in 5 nights, I'd look out there. How are these guys running around still playing? I don't think fans realize that all these weird hours and trying to get your sleep right and still performing at a high level. And that fan in Phoenix, it might be the only time they see you all year, and they're wondering, why is he having an off game? Or I admire the relentlessness that NBA guys play and the passion they play with that many times, because you're the 450 best players in the world, and that's when it really shows. But travel at the NBA level is unlike high school, college, anything else. How did you adjust to that?
Man, playing in high school, you play literally 35 games total. In college, you play 35 games, maybe 40. And just the NBA, you play 2 seasons basically. So me just coming in my first year, being 19 years old, it was kind of hard for me because playing back-to-back games, I had to give my body a rest and just be smart. And just be smart with my time management, but I just finally figured it out probably the second half of the season. So.
What about you, Jamie? 14 years, you went through everything that you'll ever see in the league. I mean, guys make 4 or 5 years, that's an incredible career. 14 years is unbelievable. I think you're top 26 in threes made all time, and you definitely left your mark and your legacy. But what was it, how many years did it take to get used to kind of the grind and the schedule and what you have to put your body through every year?
I think probably after my 3rd year, I got used to the grind and the schedule and stuff like that. But I also read a book by Michael Jordan where he said, like, when you do go into these cities, it might be a fan that be the only chance to see you live in person, right? And so you remember stuff like that. So you find ways to get yourself to get going. Because some days you're just like, man, I don't want to play basketball today, but you got a game on TV where people who paid a lot of money come see you perform, and fans expect you to go out there and perform to win the game. So you find little things to get you going and keep you motivated to play the game.
So we're gonna have a little fun with James here. I was reading when we drafted him that I don't know how many people took Spanish in high school or college or French in high school or college. They're like, James Wiseman speaks Mandarin. I'm like, what? Mandarin? That's incredible. I did the Beijing Olympics. I've been to China a couple different times. I know very, very little Mandarin. And yet the people are so welcoming. His press conference, Jason, I asked him to speak Mandarin. He knocked it out of the park. What was the inspiration to learn to speak Mandarin? That is not an easy language. And to do that and be, I don't know, kind of perceptive enough as a high school kid that this is something I want to add to my skill set. Give me the backstory on learning to speak Mandarin.
Man, it's really a simple story. My friends wanted to do Spanish, so I just wanted to be different and just try the Chinese out. And I just love like the tradition, the culture over there. And I knew that it was connected to the NBA, so I feel like that would be like a great venture for me to kind of explore and figure it out and just like learn about it. So
yeah, because I try to tell people when I went to China, there's 1.3 billion people in China. The United States, we're just the 0.3. And yet every city in China must have a basketball court. It's by like government law that I don't care if you're out in the farm area, not every city has a basketball court. They are crazy about basketball. So being able to speak the Chinese language, speak Mandarin, is unbelievable. Now the other thing too, Jason, I knew James was different, is I asked him, hey, as a kid, you move out here, you got to get cable, you got to get an apartment, you got to get furniture. You know, most young kids, 19 when he got here, this is the real world, right? He said, I have people for that. I was like, whoa, all right, this kid is more mature than I thought. I have people that handle that. I'm thinking, welcome to the NBA in 2020, 2021. But it was a very humble brag. It was a humble brag. I'm also hearing some Spider-Man stuff. I do my homework, man. Why Spider-Man out of the superheroes, and what's the fascination there?
Just like his willingness to just save the world and just be resilient even through the hard times. I'm a huge Marvel fan, so I just love watching the movies like that. But Spider-Man growing up most definitely been my favorite superhero of all time. So.
What about you, Jay? Do you have a superhero that you're following with the boys that they were keeping an eye on the Marvel characters?
Yeah, but I'm a Wolverine fan. Even though I hate that as a mascot because it's a rival school, Michigan State, but I love Wolverine. I always loved him when I was young.
James, music also is kind of a passion for you. You have the physical working out. You have everything that involves being a pro athlete in the NBA. You got to have something that occupies your mind and your creativity during downtime. What was it about music, writing things, beats as well? What was the fascination there, and why is that something that you've kind of pursued?
I've always been writing since I was younger, so I just love writing. I got a journal too. I just write rap, so I just write poems in it. And just making beats is just something that I just do just on my downtime just to get better at. But I just love music. I just love everything about it. And I meditate a lot because, in the NBA, it's a lot of chaotic stuff going on, so I just meditate so I can keep my mind in like that calm state of mind. And that's what I do.
All right, so if you're going to meet one recording artist where you might be a little starstruck, who would be on the list as far as people that either you listen to or you admire or just be interesting to run into?
Michael Jackson's still alive. I say Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Or Prince.
For sure. What about somebody, is it Jay-Z? Is it Drake?
Oh, Jay-Z.
Is it Celine Dion? You can tell us these things.
Oh, Jay-Z and Nas for sure. Jay-Z and Nas. Definitely the first two.
What about you, Jay? Do you have anybody that you kind of either admire from a distance and man, it'd be fun to hang out or be around a little bit?
It was definitely Michael and Prince. But I go even back further because my mom, she listened to a lot of old school music. It was meeting Frankie Beverly.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. For sure. The honest, for the Warriors, and luckily you win a couple championships, you get this opportunity, but it was meeting Barack Obama. Like the first time the president's 2 feet in front of you and he knows about the Warriors and knew the story of the team and the whole bit. Like, it's an interesting kind of thing. I mean, basketball will take you guys, everywhere. Jason's seen just about everything. I'm getting ready to go with Steve and Draymond and Michael Mulder and Andrew Wiggins, all these guys over to the Olympics and Team USA in Vegas next week. You played on some FIBA national teams. What's that like to play with elite players and play for the United States? It's got to be an interesting, different kind of feel.
Like playing AAU, like you have friends at AAU that you can meet up with, so y'all just coming together and playing on the USA team. Like, it's nothing more like it, just traveling across the country and just like figuring out different countries' traditions and cultures. Like, it's just crazy. And just also just representing your country is just important to me. So, I mean, I just like it so much, and it was a great experience.
Would that be something you might want to do in your career, is play for an Olympic team?
Oh, for sure. Sure.
Now, Jay, you played on one of the select teams that scrimmaged with Olympic teams, and they're going to have a select team in Vegas this next week for training camp. What's that like as a young guy going against Olympic team guys, knowing, all right, I got picked. Let me see the level where my game is as a young player.
You kind of match up your goals against those guys. Being a college guy, you're going against NBA players. Some of them was Hall of Famers. When I played with Vince Carter, Gary Payton, Jason Kidd, Ray Allen, Alonzo Mourning. So you try to measure yourself out with it. And you go up in there and the first practice, they setting the tone. They let you know you're not their level. And I realized I wasn't. The first practice, I didn't score a point. Our team got whooped by 30 points for the first 4 practices. But then when we went out there and played in front of the fans, you kind of get your bearings, you go out there and play, you realize that you can't play at that level with those guys. Not quite as high as their level, but you understand what the work it needs to take to get to that level.
Now, are you still watching a lot of basketball in retirement, or are you flipping on? I know you flip on the Warriors, but like, have you watched the playoffs and kind of followed some of the storylines?
All of it. It's a basketball household. My wife played college basketball. I got 2 sons that play basketball, so basketball is on all day in my house.
So people had not seen the NBA, for 5, 10, 15 years. What's changed the most, do you think? When you watch these playoffs, what's maybe different than the league used to be and kind of where the game is headed a little bit?
I think the skill level. I think in my era when I played, we had a lot of guys that were skilled, but they were skilled in certain areas. Where this generation of basketball, these guys are skilled in multiple dimensions in the game. They can shoot threes, they can post up, they can drive, they can shoot free throws. So when you watch these games now, these guys are so much more skilled in the way they play the game. And it's amazing to watch the skill level. I mean, the guys is off the charts of how they can score the basketball and do certain things on the basketball court.
James, for you, when you're watching, these are now your contemporaries, guys you're going to be going against. You see Chris Paul at 36.
Right.
That's 16 years for you. I mean, Steph at 33 is still killing it. So there's a long arc in the careers now because of the way you guys keep yourself in shape. Jason, as I said, played 14 years. When you're watching your contemporaries now, what are you picking out of their games or different teams, or keeping an eye on if you're flipping on a playoff game?
Just like their go-to moves, like which areas of the floor that they love to get to, and really just figuring out their mentality and like just the system of the team as a whole, like how they play the system. So the next time we face them, I know what to do, and I know how to guard my man.
Yeah, because the one guy for me, and they're out of the playoffs, but I get a kick out of Nikola Jokic. Is he the fastest guy? Is he the strongest guy? Is he in the best shape? But man, he's so skilled and has angles and goes at different speeds and either hand and little soft baby hooks. He's a great passer for a big guy. What is it about Jokic, Jason, do you think that means MVP of the league? And yet, if we were having a pickup game, I don't know if he'd get picked first sometimes.
It goes back to the skill level. I mean, the guy can do everything. Not the fastest guy on the court, but he's the most skilled guy on the court. He does everything: score, defend, pass the ball, shoot the three. I just think that's the level of what the game is at now, where it doesn't matter how high you jump or how fast you run, it's what your skill level is.
And what about playing against Jokic? I know that you're seeing him and you played against him, and he's been in the league a few years. He's got a few tricks.
Man, playing against Jokic was like once in a lifetime experience, but that dude is highly skilled. Like he taught me a lot. Like when I was guarding him in the post, like I thought he was about to pass it, but he faked off me and dunked on my head. So I was like, man, that was most definitely a welcome to the NBA moment for me. I can say that for sure.
But you did have a pretty nice play against Denver where you had a steal, dribble the length of the court, finish with the dunk. I don't know who got real excited on the broadcast about it, but it was the video was out there a lot. There are times where big guys want to show everyone they can dribble. Isn't that something like when you get a steal? It's my Magic Johnson time. It's the time to show everybody I got handles, right?
Right. It's just like me coming to the league, I had so much confidence, and I still did have it for the rest of the season. But I just wanted to show what I could do. But as the season got on, I started growing, and I started realizing that I just got to play my role and just simplify my game. But I mean, just like having those moments are really great.
Because Jason, you know, big guys are like, this is my chance to handle, and guards are like, let me take that from you. Why don't you come here? Let me take that from you. That's the difference, I think, in the NBA that fans get an idea but don't see it as much. The level of everyone. You know, if you were the best guy in high school, the best guy in college, or whatever, everybody in the league was their best guy in high school and their best guy on their college team, and they're all playing together. I mean, that's the level of it. Finish off, Jay, with Dub Nation and the fans. There's 2 football teams, although the Raiders moved. We got 2 baseball teams, but there's always been 1 basketball team. And the level of fervor and passion that Warrior fans have, I would say, good fans cheer after something great happens. Warrior fans cheer to make something great happen. You can feel it. They will great things into existence. You play that we believe thing. I thought there was an earthquake in Oracle because the volume level moved the building and exhorted this 8 team to beat a 1 seed for the first time ever. What is it about this fan base, do you think, of the connection they have with the Warriors?
It's their pride and passion for the Warriors. Like I said, during my first 5 years, wasn't really winning many games, but those fans were showing up, still cheering us on, still, trying to will us to wins. And as we became, more and more every year, getting a little bit better, getting a few more wins, it just exploded when the We Believe team. So definitely the best fans in the NBA by far. There's no other fan base in the NBA. Definitely not the Warriors fans.
Now, James, this was an odd year for the world. We're all dealing with the pandemic. We're all trying to get through this. People getting vaccinated. People getting through it together. It's great to see people, isn't it? Just to be around people and have conversations and be like human beings again. But for basketball, initially, no fans, then finally a little bit of fans, and then by the end of the year, some fans. Next year, going to be a lot of fans. But I know that there's an excitement about you from the fan base. Because the Warriors have been to the finals 5 straight years. We never had an early pick. When we got Jason 5th, these were like, oh, we're in the lottery. Like, can we get some good young guys and get good? The Warriors are already good in adding young guys. Tell me about the passion of the fans and the interest level they have in James Wiseman, because you clearly were somebody that, like, man, we got a young center to play with all the Hall of Famers. This is super exciting.
Man, it's super exciting. I just love Dub Nation so much. Great fans, one of the greatest fans in the world to me, and I just love being here. So, man, it was kind of odd this year not having fans out there, but just like saying the energy next year is going to be crazy, so I can't wait for it.
So now when you go to the Cheesecake Factory, you might get recognized. People might notice, hey, that's James Wiseman of the Warriors.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Now, you could pick up a check every once in a while, too, if you wanted to. I mean, you could go there. Anybody get the Alfredo? I'm in. I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. Hey, these guys took a little time on their holiday weekend. We love seeing you. Give it up for Jason Richardson. Give it up for James Wiseman. We'll see you at Tri-City and Buck. We'll see you at Chase Center. And September 29th, the training camp ain't that far away. So keep doing it. Thanks again. Have a great 4th of July. Good seeing everybody.